Xbox is unlocking a really cool feature on Indiana Jones, which I think will tell us a lot about where they are heading for the future of Xbox. I think it's very cool if this is going to be something we see in the future releases of Xbox. We have some more updates about Indiana Jones. A major update hit on day one of the launch. The Game Awards are this week, and there's a lot of people hyping this up. So we'll talk about some of the rumors that are out there and what is going on with that, because this is sounding like it is going to be a massive show. Apple and PlayStation are working together in kind of an unexpected way. But if you are a VR fan, this may be something you'll want to get to. We'll talk about all that plus other things. If you do enjoy daily gaming news and content, make sure to hit the subscribe, share the video, like the video, and let's jump in here talking about Indiana Jones and some interesting feature that has been unlocked. So Indiana Jones is now officially out for everybody on Game Pass, purchasing it if you don't have the premium upgrade edition. And this is obviously a game that you can play on your Xbox, play on PC via the Xbox app. You can play it on Steam. So there's many ways to access this game. And then in the future, it is also coming to the PlayStation 5. But one of the things Xbox has done very well for a long time now has been cloud saves. You compare that to kind of the way the PlayStation does things. The Xbox is definitely ahead and have set themselves up for a great future of being able to take your saves and jumping off where you left off on whatever device you're playing on. And they are doing more here, where you're going to be able to actually transfer your Xbox cloud saves onto Steam, on the Steam version of the game. Because there is a difference. Even if you're playing this on PC via the Xbox app or the Windows Store or whatever, it is different than actually going ahead and purchasing it on Steam. And I think this is awesome. Something that I've kind of wanted them to do this for a while, because if you're going to put your games in other places, you might as well just have those saves transfer no matter where you're playing or whatever platform you're playing it on. And it says here that Indiana Jones and the Great Circle supports Xbox cloud saves on Steam. While some Xbox games have supported cross saves and carrying over some progress, these titles were usually co-op or online oriented. It's possible we could see Xbox cloud saves as a standard feature for a future game. So this was caught here by Moro NL on X and shows a picture here. You can see he's using the Steam version of the game, and in the options menu there is a toggle here that says use Xbox cloud save games, and it says use Xbox cloud save games, store your save games on the cloud across all your Xbox linked devices that support the Xbox cloud. And he tweets out, you can now use Xbox cloud save games when playing the Steam version of Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. The game supports Play Anywhere, but it seems this is a new feature which enables you to use a single save file across the Windows Store, Xbox, and Steam. You see people here in the comments asking about this and saying it's a step basically in the right direction. I mean, if you're Xbox here and you're going full Xbox everywhere, anywhere, everything is an Xbox, you might as well continue with what I would say consumer-friendly moves of making your games accessible, the saves, your progress, no matter where you're playing their games. If this is a first-party Xbox game, have it available, have that cloud save transferable over to, if you're playing it on Steam, if you're playing it on the PlayStation 5, maybe you have to link into your Xbox accounts to get your cloud save. It's a really smart move, because this will allow Xbox to still capture their audience on PlayStation, even if they're playing with a PS5 controller on a PS5 box. If they're being forced here to make that account to get those cloud saves, you may see people actually want to do that if they're playing it in multiple different locations. I mean, even if you're picking this game up on PS5 in the future, maybe you're going to want to also play it on PC. There's definitely that mix between the console and PC gamers out there. And if you're getting it in two places, you're going to want to be able to access the saves that you do have. And I think this is definitely pointing towards what the future of Xbox is going to be going forward, is that if it's first party Xbox, you're able to access your content and your saves no matter what device you are on. You think about the future, particularly if, let's say, something crazy happens, like they release an Xbox console that is open, basically a PC that you can download Steam from, and you want to continue to transfer save files across those two platforms, those two logins, this will open it up, I mean, to be able to do that. So there's lots of stuff here in the future that could happen. The other thing here that kind of plays into this, which is pretty interesting if this were to happen. You have a lot of people thinking that this is the first time that Steam has tried this before, which is kind of mind-boggling, just because of the fact that they have tried the Steam machine before and it absolutely failed. But there's rumors now going around that Steam is looking to create a console, a new Steam console for Valve. So they're trying to take a kick at the can for a second time here with a Steam machine, which probably prompted here by how good the Steam Deck is doing. And they're seeing there is still that room for them to have hardware in this market. I think consoles are a little bit different, especially from a lot of the statistics we have seen from Xbox and even from PlayStation, both basically saying the console market is stagnating. It's the same customers they're selling to, and they need to try to expand that out. But Steam doesn't have a console. They're a PC platform. And they say this: Valve appears to be developing a new standalone Steam console for players, according to recent rumors and findings from various Valve data miners. The Washington-based company is working on a new traditional system known as Fremont, along with the Steam Controller 2 and the Deckard VR headset. So it really seems like Steam here is expanding out into multiple different pieces of hardware. One of the most annoying things, I think, for some people at least, was with the Steam machine was the Steam controller. It was a little odd. It was off-putting for people out there who just were used to the traditional controllers because it had like the trackpad and it was just a little different. And I think that turned off people from wanting to use that to play their games. And maybe that hurt the sales of the Steam machine, the overall success of it. But they also say here in a series of posts on social media, Valve insider Brad Lynch posted that he considers it to be signs of a new Steam OS hardware. First, he discussed why couldn't it be a dock for a current device like the Steam Deck. Lynch said that the evidence suggests that a full-size HDMI port being hardwired to the card directly as opposed to being connected via USB-C. And all references to Fremont ensure checks for a full-size HDMI Type A port you'd see on a TV-focused console and other desktop computers that don't have a dedicated GPU with its own HDMI port. So, Steam are trying to get into the console race. And this would be extremely interesting, especially because the first Steam machine did not fare very well. Is this going to be any different? You never know. I mean, with how good the Steam Deck is doing, maybe they're thinking they could transfer over their Steam Deck customers who play mostly on that to also go out and buy a home console to continue their gaming when they're not on the go and trying to just get some sales through that. But we will see, because if they do enter the race with the way that they integrate everything on Steam, like PlayStation games, Xbox games, PC games, I think for a lot of people out there, especially if they're now mainly just PC gamers or if they're Xbox gamers on PC, the Steam machine or the whatever they're going to call this new hardware is going to be a very enticing prospect, because you're still going to get access to your games from the different platforms out there, but then you're also going to get Steam. The question would be, would they ever open this up to add extra apps on it, like people are potentially saying Xbox is going to do? Like, would they allow an Xbox Game Pass app on a Steam console? Because that would change the entire game here in the console market. But we'll see. Again, this is just a rumor. Who knows if it will come true? And then you have to also think about a VR headset. They've already made one, so they're looking for making a new VR headset. Lots of interesting stuff going on here, I would say, going into technically the next generation of console hardwares with the next Xbox, next PlayStation, Nintendo Switch 2, and then you'll have a major player like Steam if they do decide to jump in. So all of this with the Steam cross saves, the whole world of gaming is just becoming one. And I know for fanboys out there, that may be off-putting because they just want to have that console war and they want to say that one place is better than the other. But honestly, the prospect of being able to play your games across all the different platforms in a singular place, have all your saves in one place, and not have to worry about it, be able to play with everybody everywhere, to me, it sounds like a very good future for gamers out there with just access to their content. Now, jumping back to Indiana Jones, because that was just kind of a link between the Steam cross saves and the Steam machine. There are some updates here for the game that did roll out day when we talked about this with the premium upgrade, why this wasn't there on December 6th, but it is there now. And that is that full ray tracing and path tracing on PC improvements and fixes to the game have all been added here with the day one update to Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. The thing with this game is there's been barely any reports that I've seen, at least, that it's broken in any way, that there's many issues, technical issues. This is a very, very well made game from Machine Games. We talked about id Tech and how great that is, how well it's optimized, not only on the PC, but also on the Xbox Series X and S. Have ray tracing and things like that on the S, and the internal resolutions that this game is running on the consoles is pretty phenomenal here. id Tech is a major player in the engines that I think Xbox needs to consider using with other studios if they can get people to pass those expertise, pass the technology on with the other games that they are making. I think that would be a very, very smart move. And we're seeing the results of how good that engine is when you have developers that know how to use it, know how to use the hardware that the game is getting put on. Indiana Jones is one of those results. Now, in terms of the sales, we don't really have any numbers yet. I think the Steam numbers for early access weren't crazy high, but we do have this. And this is where Indiana Jones is sitting in terms of where it was sitting in terms of the early access. And that is that it was in the top 10 sellers on Steam and number 6 globally for the premium edition owners who had early access to the game. And it's sitting at 93% very positive reviews on Steam. Some people are saying this is a game of the year and asking Jeff Keighley to throw this into the conversation this year, even though that's obviously not going to happen because it was after the deadline that it did come out. The unfortunate thing about releasing such a good game at the end of any year is that it's considered for the next year's Game Awards. And by the time next year comes around, the voters, Jeff Keighley, all those people who choose these awards basically and who chooses who gets to vote on the awards probably are going to forget about Indiana Jones. So I would be surprised even next year, especially with the games that are coming out next year that we're seeing in 2025, if Indiana Jones gets the recognition that from what we're seeing here online, from the reviews, from everyone talking about, it deserves, because people are saying it could be a game of the year, but I don't think it'll be in that category next year. All right, Game Awards. I mean, we'll continue talking about that because it is this week. There's lots of people hyping it up. And one thing I will say is I don't fully remember if like last year this hype was there, or if this is every single year where you have journalists and people who are going to be reporting and attending the show, hyping it up just to get eyes on the show or try to get more eyes on the show that people maybe would have skipped if the hype wasn't there. I forget if this is like a yearly thing, but it seems like there is more hype this year than we did have last year. Couple of tweets here. You have Tom Warren saying same, which is quote tweeting Andy Robinson saying expecting a very big Game Awards next week. Fire up the hype train. And the response says, is that a guess or a hint? And Andy Robinson from VGC replies, definitely not a guess. You've seen Bill Kuhn mention here that Hazelight's next game will be here at the Game Awards, basically a trailer that will be shown off, or at least that's what it's being hinted at. We've seen Jess Corden say that Jeff Keighley cooked, which you would assume means that there's going to be lots of stuff there and lots of great trailers and releases. So exciting stuff. I really hope that this hype is all for something big or for many big announcements, and it's not just getting more eyes to watch the show to just be disappointed, because I'm excited now seeing all of the hype online about the upcoming Game Awards. The other thing that we are seeing here, if you want to skip past this part, if you don't want any spoilers whatsoever, I mean, this isn't technically a spoiler, but it is kind of showing what potentially could be shown by Xbox, at least one game, which will not be surprising, but skip past this part if you don't want to know. And that is here from Special Nick, basically saying South of Midnight will get a launch date at the Game Awards, which will be in March 2025. Exorcist is saying it as well, and I would not be surprised. And we've seen a lot of gameplay of South of Midnight already. The game does look like it is closer to release than further away. We know it's coming out in 2025, so March 2025 for South of Midnight. And this brings up a few questions in my head. Why March? Because Avowed comes out in February, so you're putting 2 first-party games back to back, which I would generally think you kind of want to spread that out. But then the other side of me is thinking it's probably because Xbox has so many games in 2025 that they have this ability to put out a game, first party game, every single month that drops into Xbox Game Pass and still not have very many gaps going forward for the rest of the year. I feel like it's more along those lines when we're seeing the output right now from Xbox, even in 2024 with the amount of games they did put out, and that snowball just getting bigger and bigger with Activision Blizzard. I think that is probably more along the lines of they have so many games that they can actually put a game out February, March, and then still have content for the rest of the year, which to me is very exciting. But we'll see if this comes true. South of Midnight to me looks great. I can't wait to play it. I can't wait to get that release date and start getting more excited for it. Now we got a couple more things here. Epic Games and Fortnite, they are releasing a new first-person competitive shooter in the Fortnite universe. The way Epic has continued to expand Fortnite out and can make it always popular and competitive is genius. And here is another thing that I think is a very cool move. This will be more interesting to me than ever actually playing the Battle Royale Fortnite, but this is called Fortnite Ballistic. And what they say here is Epic Games has lifted the lid on Fortnite Ballistic, an all-new first-person experience built inside Fortnite. It's launching in early access on December 11th with both ranked and unranked modes. It'll serve as another angle to the Fortnite competitive ecosystem that players have loved for many years, but this time the perspective has been completely altered. They say that in a post on the Fortnite blog, it was revealed that Fortnite Ballistic will launch in early access with one map, Skyline 10. It'll drop with a select assortment of weapons and items, and as the community explores the game, Epic will make the necessary adjustments. This is a 5v5 competitive shooter. Think Valorant, think CSGO. They're trying to get into that realm of first-person shooter games, and I really do enjoy those games. Those games are very fun to me, so Fortnite doing this has me kind of enticed to see how this stacks up to a game like Valorant and a game like CSGO. So very cool. We were seeing a lot of stuff come out here. You have the Delta Force game, which is kind of like Battlefield. You have Marvel Rivals, which is Overwatch, and now you have Fortnite Ballistic. So there's more competition here from some bigger players, and we have seen lots of these games fail. Try to get out there. I mean, you saw Concord, you saw X Defiant, those all failed, and now we're here with Fortnite Ballistic. We will see how it does, and if it does succeed, it probably will. It's Fortnite. Fortnite is a goldmine. Let's jump over here. PlayStation VR2, to me, I have one. I don't use it. It was a big waste of money, unfortunately. I may eventually use it. I think I will jump in and play some stuff. But the PSVR 2, you can see Sony as well is kind of abandoning it with giving the connection to PC. They're not really releasing any big first-party content for it. And here's another thing to show that in terms of it being on the PlayStation platform and them making it this big selling feature for the PS5, they don't really care anymore about that, but they are going to continue to use the hardware that they have created in many different ways. And here's another way that it looks like they are going to be working with Apple to bring over the PSVR 2 controllers to work on the Apple Vision Pro. It says the Vision Pro could gain support for Sony PSVR 2 controllers, according to Mark Gurman in today's Power On newsletter for Bloomberg. Apple and Sony are apparently planned to announce support for the controllers weeks ago, but have pushed back the rollout under this rumored partnership. Apple would begin selling Sony's controllers, which aren't currently available on their own. Very interesting. I'll be honest, the PSVR 2 controllers are actually great. I mean, I like them a lot. They're great tracking. They work well in the games. So they're looking at ways to still make money off of this hardware that is aside from actually selling the PSVR 2 and adding content to that device. Very annoying if you're a PSVR 2 owner, in my opinion, but Sony definitely is still trying to make some of their money back on this project that I don't think is doing what they had expected. But they're great controllers. I mean, the Vision Pro is insanely expensive. It's a very niche product, at least right now. I'm sure there'll be many iterations of the Vision Pro and it'll become more consumer friendly in terms of the pricing and it become more mainstream. So these controllers could play a big role in them being utilized with the device itself. And one more thing here, Path of Exile 2 has released early access at least, and it is doing very, very well. New peak of over 500,000 concurrent Steam players on day 2 of the early access. The game will be free to play when it does launch. If you ever play the first one, it's like a Diablo style of game, but you can currently pay $30, the minimum of $30 to play the game right now in early access. So over 500,000 people have decided to do that on Steam. Everyone's talking about Path of Exile 2. It is going to be a major player in the game's world. And there's always going to be those comparisons to Diablo. And you're going to see the back and forth between Path of Exile 2 and Diablo 4. So pretty cool stuff. I played the first Path of Exile. I enjoyed it. I will probably jump into this, but I'll probably just wait until it becomes free to play because I don't have too much time right now with all the other games that I'm trying to jump into at the moment. But I will end the video there, guys. If you did enjoy this video, make sure to hit that thumbs up. If you're new here, hit that subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.
Bye.